Oh, to you.
Okay, so I can ready to go now, yeah? Okay, all right. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and peace be upon everyone. Happy day. And to our distinguished member of CILT family, Wilat Sisters, Ex-Team Global Wilat Chairperson, Deputy Advisor, Secretariat, GVC's country chairs, our speaker, moderator, as well as all our wonderful virtual attendees. Okay, so we would like to extend our warmest greeting. My apology for not able to address each one of you individually. Yeah, okay, but we have so many around the Wilat Globe to join us today. So thank you for gracing us with your presence today at the Global Wilat webinar, Green Practice Action Group, yeah, GPAG, Port and Maritime, Port of Tanjung Pelepas. So with us today, please join me to welcome, okay, we have here our Wikiku is the Global Chairperson for Wilat and the Director of Vizilog Asia Limited, specializing in automation and digitalization for supply chain excellence. She has a diverse career in bulk ship, containerized, freight, and supply chain management. So joining CILT in early 80s, but she don't look old. She's getting younger. So she is now a chartered fellow, yeah, CILT Hong Kong Council member and the Wilat Global Chairperson from 2023 to 2026. Wiki has also instrumental in expanding Wilat chapters globally, facilitating communication as well as organizing event. She is passionate about advancing a woman's career in logistics and transport. So let us welcome Madam Wikiku. Over to you for the key opening notes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Zoe, our very dear champion of webinars. So thank you for organizing it. And thank you, Rashma, for putting this together with very impressive guest speakers to tell us more about how the ports are keeping the ocean bluer and greener. So I'm putting on a green jacket today, just for the theme of Rashma. Thank you. This green port topic is very important. I have graduated with a logistics degree, and my first job was for a shipping company. And when I walk out to the berth where the ship is, the water color of the water is black. Okay. And I was thinking that this 30 years ago as my experience. And if we look at today's statistics, shipping accounts for almost 3% of the global greenhouse gas emission. We all have to play a part as a profession in this industry to help making the ocean blue again and make our earth green again, because we cannot afford to have black water, polluted waters for our next generation. We are so pleased to have Mr. Ahmad, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, to share with us firsthand from Port Tanjung Pelepas, which is an industry I'm very close to my heart, because I have my background from both terminal operations in Hong Kong, and also warehousing operations in Hong Kong, which also is a very big subject in green, keeping the earth green. And I would also like to recommend Rashma for your hard work and putting up this green initiative in different areas, not just in maritime, but also in aviation, also on the land side, logistics, as well as packaging and recycling of plastics. These are all the big items in front of us. As Global Wilat, all the Wilat members, we encourage you to do our part in your capable parts as well to help pushing this initiative forward. I think Reshma later on would mention about the upcoming program as well, because we have lined up another paid program towards end of this month and also early in September to learn more about ESG, uh, including gender diversity and also a special topic on differently abled employees. So without further ado, I would like to pass the mic back to Sawir. Thank you very much for moderating it, and I hope everyone will have some new knowledge to take away today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. She's always amazing and inspiring. Yeah. Okay, so with that, now I would like to introduce our moderator, none others than Reshma Yusof, our Green Practicer Champion for Wilat Global, a charter member of CILT Malaysia and the operations lead for the Wilat Global Capacity Building Center, WCBC. She is the founder of CLLB, Malaysia's leading logistic and supply chain management training provider with over 25 years of experience in the field. And active years of experience in the field, and also she's an active speaker and moderator at conferences. Yeah, so Reshma founded Vista Malaysia, the 55th national chapter of Vista International in 2022. She is also a board member of ICC Malaysia, a certified dangerous good safety advisor, DGSA. But believe me, she's not dangerous. Only she's handled dangerous good. Yeah, and actively promotes the role of women in logistics and shipping. Additionally, she is also committed to promoting employment opportunity for the neurodiverse in Malaysia. So, what are we waiting for? Over to you, our lovely moderator.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for that. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good day and welcome to our third engagement session. So this is Green Practices Action Group's third engagement session with the industry on green practices adoption. We are delighted to have the opportunity today to engage with the Port of Tanjung Pelepas. PTP's strategic location and state-of-art facilities have established it as a leading hub in the global shipping industry. Impressively, PTP has recently been ranked as the 5th most efficient container port in the world, according to the 2023 Container Port Performance Index. This remarkable achievement not only highlights PTP's operational excellence, but also positions it as the top performer in Southeast Asia. As the Green Practices Champion of Global Wilat, I am with full pride because PTP hails all the way from my country in Malaysia. I'm sure all of you are as eager as I am to learn more about PTP's journey towards environmental stewardship. The dedication to reducing carbon footprint and implementing eco-friendly initiatives that sets a benchmark for the port industry in our country. To take us through this journey, we have with us Encik Azwan Ahmad, who is the head of sustainability at PTP. Let me give you a little bit of a background because this young man has really impressed me as well. Azwan is the head of sustainability. He specializes in sustainability, ESG generally, with extensive experience in developing and implementing policies that align business strategies with ESG needs. He has a proven track record of driving positive change and achieving sustainable outcomes. His expertise in ethical sourcing and environmental programs underscores his commitment to cost-effective sustainability initiatives that support sustainable development goals. Inche Ezwan has worked across various industries, including media and broadcasting, construction and properties, hospitality and real estate, and now in transportation and logistics. He is a GRI certified professional, a certified sustainability reporting specialist, and holds a CFA in ESG investment certification. He graduated from the University of Manchester with an MSc in philosophy, politics, and economics, and is also a Chevening scholar. Today's discussion is going to be really valuable for all of us. It's an excellent opportunity for us to take this platform today and to exchange some ideas and insights and understand, and of course, ask as many questions as we want from Mr. Ezwan, who will take us through PTP's green practices adoption journey. So don't let me take too much of your time and allow me to share now the mic with Inche Ezwan. Inche Ezwan, over to you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon or morning to everyone. So generally, thank you so much, Reshma, for having me, and it was such an honor and also pleasure to meet every one of you. I think from CILT and from the Wilat. I think generally when I talk about transportation and logistics, I'm literally new. I just joined the industry for the past 2 years. I think I still need to learn more through with our peers and colleagues that who has work in this industry many times, like Miss Vicky Koo and also Reshma. I think, but what I try to do here, basically what I'm going to achieve in this particular session, what is going to be to share our story from a Port of Tanjung Pelepas on how we be able to transform ourselves to be a green port. At the same time, also in order for us to be efficient, we are at the same time looking into the taking care of the environment. And at the same time, also we have our own target aspirations in to port at the same time for the sustainable future. So I think generally I'm going to share with the slides that for everyone. Generally, I think I'm going to do interactive sessions, meaning to say that you'll be able, if anyone of you who likes to ask questions, feel free to do so. You just raise out your hand, or perhaps you can just put in the chat box. If you have time, I'm more than happy to try to answer your questions accordingly. Yeah. So it's going to be it's like a sharing session. Rather than one-way communication between staff and
yeah, let me share my screen. Sorry, Inche Ezwan, I'm just going to let everyone know if they can turn their mics off. Okay. Because if your mic is on, we won't hear all this wonderful information that Inche Ezwan's going to share with us. So please turn your mic off. And you can keep your video on, but mic off until you want to ask a question. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sure. I think generally, thank you so much, Reshma. Okay. First and foremost, I think I would like to. Oh. Sorry. Need to stop sharing here. Okay. So I think more or less people know where PTP is located. I think PTP is located in Malaysia. We are at the Straits of Malacca. I think generally when it comes to numbers of volumes, we handle roughly around 10.5 million TEUs last year in 2023. I think but in 2021, we managed to break our record of 11.2 million TEUs. I think in general, in terms of ranking, when it comes to volumes, PTP is ranked at number 15, but I think for the efficiency part from the container port performance index 2023, as mentioned by Reshma previously, that we are number 5 in the world. And then when it comes to from the Southeast Asia, we are the number 1 in Southeast Asia. So general idea is basically PTP, we are using a transshipment hub. We are handling containers, but at the same time also we have a business of free zones. At the same time, we provide marine services to our customers. So I think this is basically the general ideas of PTP, but I do believe that everyone of you here in this particular forum has know PTP very well, and at the same time also very familiar with Port of Tanjung Pelepas business. Just to give you a little bit of context and recap, so you will be able to understand the journey I'm going to share later on in my next presentation, in my next slides. So I think generally when it comes to Port of Tanjung Pelepas, we are located at the Straits of Malacca. I think we are quite blessed with our shareholders, which is MMC and also FPM Terminal. FPM Terminal, as you guys know, is owned by Maersk Group, and then it makes PTP is one of the largest hub for Maersk. The number is a containers company that really big when it comes to green initiative, and also and they have a very ambitious target to be a carbon net zero by 2040, a decade earlier rather than other companies. Like PTP, we have our own targets to be a carbon net zero by 2050. But Maersk, our big customers, one of the most important customer that we have, has a target to achieve their carbon net zero by 2040, a very ambitious one. But I think this is something that we want to put a little bit context of why is it very important for PTP as a port to align with our customers through their decarbonization journey. Because at the end of the day, like I said, PTP, we are at the port is literally at the central of the global supply chain. We need to say that mostly good and trades, 80% of good and trades are coming from Red Sea, and most of the time they will come from and to the port. So generally, if we be able to reduce our carbon emissions at the port, it will help to reduce a carbon footprint when it comes to global trade. So this is a very critical areas that we need to decarbonize. Because at the end of the day, if let's say Maersk, they want to achieve their carbon net zero by 2040, they need to rely to port as well. So that's why we try to align ourselves with the goals and with the aspiration that they have. At the same time, also we'll be able to provide values to our customers, to our shareholders, etc. So I think generally, the question here is basically why we are doing this, why we are transforming our port to become more sustainable, to become greener. I think generally because when we are talking about port and we are at the global supply chain, we are handling with global trade, etc. We need to look into a global standard as well. So generally, I think we know for the fact that in 2015, Paris agreements, most of countries, particularly like Malaysia, we have a commitment to reduce 45% carbon reductions by 2030. So that's one of the reasons why PTP we take this as one of our targets to achieve our carbon reduction by 45% carbon reduction by 2030. How we achieve it, how we reduce the carbon emissions, I'm going to share with you in my next couple of slides. At the same time, also as the port, we are really close to IMO. That's why IMO, they have a target to reduce carbon intensity from shipping by 2030. That's one of the reasons why, in general, PTP need to play a significant role in order for the shipping liners to achieve their carbon reduction as well. I just want to give it a bit context how this how the formulas look like. Because in general for PTP, shipping liners is under our scope 3. It's an indirect emission. But and same goes to the shipping liners. For shipping liners like Maersk, MAC, Evergreen, they also see PTP or port as their indirect value chain, meaning to say under our scope 3. So if in order for us to achieve 45% carbon reduction, in order for us to achieve carbon intensity reductions, both parties need to reduce the carbon emissions. Then only both parties can achieve the carbon reductions by 2030. So in general, so what I'm going to say here is, and when it comes to decarbonization, when it comes to sustainability, we cannot do it alone. We need to do it together as an alliance and also as a partner. So for us to achieve a sustainable future. I think that's also, I urge everyone here in this platform to also to look at your company on how you can able to help to reduce your carbon emissions in your organization. At the same time, also when we are talking about PTP, when we are located in Malaysia, we have a strategic partnership with the government. At the same time, so we are aligning ourselves with national aspirations. I think generally Malaysia's with our Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, really looking into sustainability under their Madani economic framework. So generally, this is also something that we want to align ourselves, not only looking into at the global level, but at the same time looking into how we can align with the national aspirations and national policy. And at the same time, also just want to give a little bit context to for my friends who are not living in Malaysia. Malaysia, we have published National Energy Transition Roadmap. So we know for the fact that in order for Malaysia to achieve 45% carbon reduction by 2030, we need to have a just transition or energy transition that will allow company, industry, or individuals to be able to reduce their carbon emission as well. So and becoming more economic, more eco-friendly, and also will be able to make a planet that greener for our future generations. But last but not least, also we are looking into our industry demand. We here like PTP, we are talking to our customers, we are talking to our partners and stakeholders. What are their aspirations look like? And for example, now I think during the recent COP28 in Dubai, I think most of companies of most shipping liners has started to talk about how they can reduce their carbon emissions. I think there are a couple of things that they are looking at. For example, like looking into ended for new building of fossil fuel only vessels, meaning to say that they were looking to alternative fuels. At the same time, also they are looking into GHG pricing mechanism. Now only because if in order for them to achieve carbon net zero, they need to offset the carbon itself. At the same time, also they need to use a carbon pricing mechanism for trading purposes in order for them to achieve their their targets. At the same time, also they are looking into life cycle GHG week life cycle GHG recovery basis. I think the PAG already make a commitment to push the IMO to look into this regulatory in order for them to greener or to make to ensure that the will-to-wake life cycle GHG will be reduced. This is something that at for our customers, like for the shipping liners, they have started to talk about this, and that's one reason why PTP also need to step up and also need to look into how we can help them at the same time, so how we can be able to work together in achieving a sustainable future. So I think generally, when we are talking about PTP, I think we try when it comes to carbon GHG accounting. We are always looking into scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. I give you a little bit an introduction what is scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 for those who are still new in this particular area. I think scope 1 is basically a direct emission from the organization. In nutshell, the rule of thumb is basically from the fossil fuel, and the asset must be owned by that particular company. For example, here in PTP, our scope 1 is more or less from our prime mover trucks. We have around 560 to 570 trucks. This is something that we need to look into how we want to manage our fuel, our equipment, our prime mover in order for us to achieve our scope 1 carbon emission. At the same time, also when we are talking about scope 2, it's basically indirect emission. Generally, is purchased electricity. Whatever purchased electricity is going to go to the scope 2 indirect emission. Whatever electricity consumptions from that particular organization will fall under scope 2. Whereas scope 3 is everything else. For example, our employees commute from their home to the office is also considered as scope 3. Our suppliers from their their office to come to PTP also will consider scope 3. Our customers, like our shipping liners who came all the way from 70 destinations, also can consider our scope 3 as well. Same goes with our pre-zone tenants. They also be part of our scope 3. This is called as indirect emission value chain. But when you're talking about 45% carbon reduction by 2030, the aim that has been set up by PTP, we are looking into scope 1 and scope 2 first. Reason being because scope 1 and scope 2 is something that we were able to control. We have a control, and we know we able to control, and we know how to address that particular problems. But at the same time, also we are looking into how we can address our scope 3 as well by having partnerships with our suppliers, with our customers, with shipping liners, and also with everyone else. So generally, I think when we are talking about scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, this is something that we need to understand from the beginning in order for us to look on what are the how we were able to achieve 45% carbon reductions, or to become a carbon neutral or carbon net zero in the 2040 or 2050. So coming back on the topic of scope 1, scope 1 is direct emission from source controlled by the port, such as diesel powered shore and infrastructure for moving containers, crane, and boats. So general ideas for PTP, how we approach this topic is, we at first, when we started our journey back in 2022, we have started with carbon inventory. We try to understand where we are in terms of our scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. What are the where's the most where's the main contributor for our scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3, and that's when we can come up with an alternative plan on how we'll be able to reduce the carbon emission. For examples, I think for PTP, when we have completed our carbon inventory, we know where we are, we know what are the things that we can reduce our carbon. We started with looking into energy optimization through digitalization. We haven't started to talk to purchase a new equipment. We just look into how we'll be able to use our current asset, our current assets, our current crane, our current machine, but in the optimized manner. So how we able to achieve it? We're looking into a couple of using digitalization. We have our asset utilization, which improve the efficiency of vessel traffic movement and the safety of navigation. We also talking about improve the resource deployment, and also we will be able to have a real-time visibility of our operational performance and all assets. In general, I think when we have a digital twin, we be able to use AI, artificial intelligence, to like your ways, we be able to choose the closest point A to point B. Meaning to say that when we choose the closest point A to point B, we are using less diesel, less fuel to operate, and at the same time we'll be able to reduce our carbon emission. This is something that we have started in 2021 when we have our asset utilization, and this already helped us a lot when it comes to carbon emission. I think same goes to energy optimization. I think then when we already optimize our terminal with our footprint through digitalization, through artificial intelligence, we look into how we can further reduce our carbon emission. As mentioned before, our main source of point is our prime mover. Our prime movers, we have like 560 to 560 plus prime movers operating inside terminal 24/7. And in order for us to reduce our scope 1, our fuel, our diesel, we have started to look into two options. One, we are looking into biodiesel B20. Because biodiesel B20, the carbon emission or the carbon emission is lesser than the fossil fuel like diesel, because we blending the palm oil together with the diesel. So in that particular regard, we were able to reduce our we were able to reduce the carbon emission from the existing diesel that we are currently using, which is B7. At the same time, also we are looking into e-prime mover as well. Maybe perhaps we can shift from diesel prime mover to electrical prime movers. It looks easier. It looks easy because you just need to purchase a new fleet, and then we'll be able to reduce our carbon our scope 1. But the reality is not. Why? First, because when we need to understand that when we are talking about Port of Tanjung Pelepas, we are operating 24/7, 365 days. And then we run the operation, the terminals every day, 24/7. Then if let's say when using a diesel prime mover, it only takes us like 5 or 10 minutes to refuel the truck. But when you are talking about electric prime mover, first and foremost, that the durations that for you to charge the EPM, it takes like more like 4 or 5 hours. One. The first issue is basically about the charging, about the duration of charging, and will impact of our operation. Second challenge that we also can see is basically about charging station, because because you know that one truck requires like 4 or 5 hours. Therefore, if you want to have 560 trucks moving all the way inside terminals, we need at least 70 to 80 charging stations inside the terminal. And now our terminal is already congested. This is the challenge that we have here in PTP, to look into how we be able to plan the charging station, and at the same time also we are not disrupting our operation. So this is second challenge that we are currently facing at the same but the team is currently looking into it. Third is basically looking into driver behavior. I think EPM, electric car or electrical vehicles, one, they are really fast. The acceleration is very, very fast. And second, also, they are very quiet. So in general, I think when it comes to safety, is also have some issues regarding the e-prime mover as well. So having said that, this is something that we have started to look, and this is something that we have collaborated with many partners to address these particular problems. And then if now we are doing a POC, proof of concept. We have six electrical prime movers inside the terminals, and we are testing it at the same and then we are going to start to phase out diesel prime mover by 2026. So in general, if let's say we will able, if the case is successful, at the same time, so we'll be able to solve the problems that I have shared before, we are able to reduce 65% of carbon emissions by changing our prime movers to e-prime movers. That is from the environmental point of view. But of course, when you are talking about financials point of view, the economic part, also you just need to bear in mind that e-prime mover is basically 3 times the price 3 times higher as compared to conventional one. So this is something that we need to I think the team is looking into it as well. Because at the end of the day, we also need to ensure that whatever options that we have, we cannot disrupt our operations. And this is the most important part, because at the end of the day, we want to serve to our customers, and also we want to ensure that all the operations are in a stable manner. So it sounds very difficult. It sounds very it's like impossible, mission impossible. But I think generally PTP has a good track record when it comes to transitioning from diesel to electrical. Because when we had started our journey, when we changed our RTGs, last time back in 2011, all our RTGs are using diesel. But now in 2023, all our rubber tire gantries are already electrified. So in general, we have a track record. We have a history. We also have some ideas on how we are transitioning from diesel to electric rubber tire gantries. But the challenge that we have for the prime mover is a little bit different, because of course about the timing, about time. The second is because about the size, at the same time also about the charging stations. So these are 3 things that this is something that we are looking into it. At the same time also the initiative that we have in order for us to achieve to reduce our carbon emissions when it comes to scope 1. So I think then let's move on to the scope 2. Scope 2, like I said, is indirect emissions. Basically, purchase electricity. Purchase electricity. Just want to give a little bit context for PTP. Our consumption is averaging of 148.5 gigawatt hour, equivalent to 103,000 ton of CO2. is quite huge, I would say. And then this is something that we need to reduce as well, because when we electrify all our assets, all our equipments, what happened is when we reduce our scope 1, but our scope 2 will be higher. And then just want to give a little bit context in Malaysia. In Malaysia context, our source of electricity are coming from coal power plant. And then when it's talking about coal power plant, the emission factor is higher and also it's not greener. So in a way that, but it's, of course, it's better than fossil fuel. But in a way that in order for us to achieve 45% carbon reductions by 2030, we need to look into a couple of ways. We cannot just simply transitioning from diesel to electricity, but we need to look beyond that. So in general, what we have done, like I said, the first one we need to look is basically how we can optimize the current asset or current equipment that we have. First, we change our upgrade from conventional energy sources to from LED. We change our lights from traditional one to LED, and then which we are able to reduce around 702 kilowatt hour in 2020 in 2023, and we managed to reduce around 50% of energy consumptions. This why when we have shifted from LED from the traditional lights to LED conversion. At the same time, also we are looking into how we can use our opportunities, which is the ways that we have in PTP to transform to become an energy. It's called WTE, Waste to Energy. I think in Malaysia there's not many opportunities that we have, but I think for PTP we are exploring the option as well, because we do believe that we on average we have 4,000 megatons of waste generated yearly, and we can see this is opportunity that we can use to use our waste to become an energy, which I think something that we are currently working together with our partners to understand on what are the ways that can be used to change to energy. This is something that we are also looking forward to it. This is going to be an interesting project, because if let's say we be able to manage, we be able to find a right formula for waste to energy. We also can take a vessel waste and from vessels, and then we can turn it into energy, and also can be put in the circular economy concept, which is we are going to close the loop. So there's no waste being wasted. So generally, every single thing is going to be turned into energy. But this is something that we are still at the feasibility study. We try to understand how the categorization of our waste in order for us to transform it to become energy. So this is something that we are working together with our partners in order for us to reduce our scope 2. And at the same time also, we are talking about solar panel. This is like a standard or classic case for companies in Malaysia in order for them to reduce their carbon emissions using solar. That's right and wrong. I think for me personally, when we are talking about solar, that's when in Malaysia, I think the only source of renewable energy that are stable is solar. We are not blessed like other countries, which they can use wind, they can use biomass, and etc. But for Malaysia, we are because we are not we are at the equator, so we cannot we don't have a wind, we don't have also wave that can change into energy. But for us, the solar panel is like that is normal initiative, or like a general ideas on how we can get renewable energy. So just want to give a bit context that for PTP, since we are using a lot of electricity, if let's say we install all our solar panels, install all our rooftop with solar panels, we only be able to generate around 3% of our electricity demand. So in general, what I would say that it's a nice to have, but it's not a game changer, or it's not going to give much renewable energy for our own consumption. It only give
you mean all that solar panels that you guys have, because I've seen it, and that's only able to take 3% of your consumption. That's it. Did I hear right?
Correct.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I said that it's nice to have, but it's not a game changer. But the game changer is going to be we need to have a solar farm. We need to work together with partners to have a solar farm for us to get more renewable energy from the solar. I think generally in Malaysia, we have a lot of we have a lot of companies who are offering this kind of services, and we are talking to them in order for us to achieve more solar power or more renewable energy from them. So that's one reason why we, like I said, yes, it's nice to have for us to install to install a solar panel at all of rooftop, but it only can give us 3% from our energy consumption. So that's the challenge not challenge. This is something that we need to look at for PTP, and this is the alternative solution that we're going to look at is basically to look into the solar farm, which we are talking to a couple of partners that we able to supply constant solar energy to PTP. So this is a scope 1 and scope 2. I think generally, general ideas, if let's say we were able to change our our prime movers to electrical prime movers. At the same time, also we have constant renewable energy from solar farm, which is 50% of our energy consumptions must come from solar farm. Then only we'll be able to achieve 45% carbon emission reductions by 2030. So this is something that we have a long way to go. But we have a couple of strategies in order for us to achieve for that particular target. Just to want to give it a bit context that from our scope 1 and scope 2, we managed to reduce 13% carbon emission reductions in last year, 2023. So from 2021 to 2023, we be able to achieve to reduce 13%, 1/3 of our carbon emissions from our scope 1 and scope 2, based on this initiative that I have shared with you guys before. So I think this is something that that we're really proud of. I think we have our plan, we know where we are, we know what are the challenges that we have. At the same time, also we are working closely with our partners in order for us to address all our concerns and problems. So this is something that that we have working closely with many partners and also many different divisions. And if let's say any one of you have any ideas on how we can accelerate our decarbonization journey, feel free to reach out to us. Maybe perhaps we can explore a couple of ideas in to reduce our scope 1 and scope 2 as well. I think generally then I'm going to move to our scope 3. I think scope 3 is something that really interesting, and it's also something that related to every one of you. Basically, when talking about scope 3 is indirect emissions from our value chain. I think for PTP, just want to give, as I said, that we have our marine services. We also provide tugboat and also pilot boat services. And our tugboat and pilot boat we chartered to a third party. So that's why that falls under our scope 3, because PTP, we don't own our pilot boat and tugboat. So, but the issue that we have now is basically how we can work together with our partners to reduce our carbon emissions when it comes to tugboat and pilot boats. So we have work together with International Maritime Organization through their Green Voyage 2050 project. We have looking into how we can reduce our carbon emission, particularly from our tugboat and pilot boat. And like I said, our common formula is very first and foremost is looking into how we can optimize our operation first. Therefore, we try to understand in terms of like deployment. Is it enough? Is it we have too many tugboats or too many pilot boats? What would be the best destination for us to what would be the best strategy for us to deploy our tugboat and pilot boats, so we will be able to reduce our carbon emission? So that we have started the journey together with International Maritime Organization, and we have come up with certain formulas. And at the same time, also what we're going to do. Basically, we already have a draft of recipe book that we're going to share with all ports in the world, how you can reduce tugboat and pilot boats using our strategy, using our study, what are the best number, what are the optimum number of tugboat and pilot boats, what are the deployment status look like, how we can let's say for example in terms of distance, how we can make sure that the fuel consumption will be lesser. So this is something like how many nodes that you need to go and etc. So this is something that we have worked together with IMO, and then perhaps I think in the next couple of months, we'll be able to publish our recipe book, which is going to be shared to every ports in the world, so that we can use like a benchmark study, and you can also use and replicate the similar formula to all the ports in all over the world. So this is something that we are proud of to talk about. At the same time, also we are also looking into possibility to change the boat to be more greener. Now we have a couple of options, whether we are using electric boats or we can use alternative fuels boat, like for example methanol, ammonia, or hydrogen. This is something that also we are looking into it closely, and then and we are going to start to talk to our partners to start to tender out the design of the green boats to respective organizations who are interested to work together with us very soon. So this is generally the ideas of how PTP, not only at the port, we also try to play a bigger role when it comes to maritime industry. This is how our contributions in order for us to be sustainable, to be greener together. In general, we are doing the study here in PTP, what we're going to share with all of the ports in the world, and you'll be able to replicate whatever outcomes or whatever recommendations that PTP has in our study. So this is something that I think once we have the recipe book ready, I think now is to get it. Now the book is with IMO. IMO is currently looking into it, and then once ready and once we have green lights, I think we will be able to share with you more details, and we can share through our through your network and platform as well.
Excellent.
So yeah, and then we also another one more interesting projects in terms of scope 3. Scope 3 is basically looking into partnership for infrastructure, green fuel bunkering hub. I think generally when during my earlier my presentation, I have started to talk about how shipping liners, they have started to look into alternative fuels. They try to move away from fossil fuel, and then they try to explore with a couple of options like methanol, ammonia, or hydrogen. But just want to give a little bit context here in this for the maritime industry. I think the trend is currently moving towards methanol. Reason being because methanol is more stable, at the same time also readily available. At the same time, when it comes to safety, it's a little bit safe. It's safe rather than as compared to hydrogen and also ammonia, which they haven't tested yet. So in general, and at the same time, also when it comes to demand, Maersk Line and also Hapag-Lloyd, they have started to talk about to have more methanol vessels in the next couple of years. I think if I'm not mistaken, now they have around 220 in order books. So I think the next trend will be methanol vessel. So that's one reason why I think PTP will look at how we be able to provide values to our customer, our Maersk Line. So we are talking to different stakeholders on how we can have a green bunkering hub along Sungai Pulai, in PTP, so that vessels can come to PTP not only to load and offload their container, but at the same time also they can have a methanol supply as well. So we have started to talk to many stakeholders like Petronas and like our partners ATB in front of us on how we can create an ecosystem in Port of Tanjung Pelepas to develop this green bunkering hub. I think one thing that I can say that why PTP has a slightly advantage is one, because we have space and we have areas for us to have to build the green bunkering hub. Unlike our neighbor, the space is limited. Therefore, I think they are really quite difficult for them to have a green bunkering hub, or they really difficult to produce methanol within the areas, because like I said, when we are talking about green, the source must be green. That's the first thing. Second, the destinations from the producer to producer to the vessel must be reduced as well. So if they say it's no point if you have a green methanol, but you import it from Canada or import it from China. So might as well you need to have you have a production a plant that can be that are able to source to the vessel, but in a short distance. So, but that's one of the reasons why Malaysia we are very blessed, because Petronas they are looking into it as well. They have a capability of looking into green methanol. At the same time, also we have many partners that has an interest looking into this particular area. But now I think for PTP we already started to talk to our government to look into regulatory framework and also safety standards on how we can bunker this methanol fuel, etc. I think because this is something new, we also need to work together with the authorities in order for us to ensure that these fuels are safe not only for the environment but also safe for the employees and so for the community surrounding. So this is generally that we have started to talk to our government, and and then we try to push the agenda for this regulatory framework and safety standards. So in a nutshell, this is something that we are. These are two interesting projects that I can share with you, that which I think is quite relevant to our discussion today when it comes to scope 3. One is basically collaboration with IMO, and second, a collaboration with partnership for infrastructure on green fuel bunkering hub. I think this is when you're talking about how PTP want to decarbonize, or how we want to make sure to be a green port. This is the challenges, and this is how we address that particular problems. So I think moving forward, I think I'm going to touch a little bit on our choice on the social part. I think basically when we are talking about sustainability or ESG, we always keep talking about E, environmental, social, and governance. But I just covered it
yes, please.
I just covered
Thank you
yeah,
very
just,
much.
I will cover the topics. One is talking about diversity inclusion. I think I'm not the right person to talk about it, because all of you are more experienced and understand the industry very well. I think when it comes to port, it's a male-dominated industry. And then that's one of the reasons why we need to have to champion the ideas of diversity and inclusion. I think for PTP, we have a structured women employment programs in PTP, because we want to make sure that they feel safe working with us, they feel empowered working with us, and at the same time also they have a career path, or they can build their family while working in PTP. So these are the aspirations that we have when we are talking about diversity and inclusion, and that's one reason why we have our first RTG operator. We have our first marine harbor pilot, and then our prime mover operators now more or less 10% are female, and we have an ambitious target to have 40% of our blue collar people working in terminals are females back in 2030. So generally, we have our ambitious target, and we know how we want to achieve it, and we know where we are. That's one of the reasons why we have started to engage our female colleagues or female partners to understand of what their needs, etc. One of them, just want to share with you from our conversation that we have together with our female employees working in terminals. They say that they want a childcare center inside terminal. So I think this is, but for us, if they say we have a childcare center that operates 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., it doesn't give any significant value, because because our female operators also working 24/7. They also working shift. So that's one reason why we try to come up with. We have started to talk to our partners, to talk to the government, whether we are able to have our 24/7 childcare center inside terminal, which we think that we can cater the mothers who are working with PTP. So this is how we want to ensure that we try to attract and retain our female employees in PTP. Not only that, we also have a culture of respect and civility in PTP. We have a very strong when it comes to sexual harassment, regardless who you are. If they say and if they say something not right, you are going to there's no compromise when it comes to this as well. I think that's one part. And then second part, we are talking about health and safety. I think we have a very strong safety culture inside PTP. We have a 5-year safety transformation plan. At the same time, also we try to we have a lot of Kaizen, we have a lot of Gemba to find what are the risks to at the work site at the terminals, not only from the HSCE office, but we also encourage of we also involve our leaders, our CEO, and all our senior management teams are part of the safety Gemba to look into what are the opportunities that we can use to make sure to ensure that our terminal is safe for all the employees. At the same time, also we have a Fitpot. It's a very interesting initiative. We are working closely with SOXO for Malaysia. I think SOXO is basically SOXO is a
social service.
Social,
Right?
yeah, social
Also
service.
like social
Yeah.
service.
Yeah. So in general, how we collaborate together with SOXO is because when thoughts sometimes when you do your work, it's not like economics, and sometimes you blend and stand there and can have a back ache and back pain as well. So this is we have our rehabilitation center, in-house rehabilitation center in PTP, so that if let's say you have any back ache or you have a back pain, you can come to Fitpot and then you'll be able to be treated by certified therapists from SOXO. So this is something that that helps our employees to be better. At the same time, also they will be able to be more productive, and last but not least, they will be more happy employees because we try to take care of their needs as well. And then one more thing that we also want to highlight is basically on the training and development and on L&D part. We have a lot of programs with the tertiary education. At the same time, also we try to groom our young talents. I think last year we won 2 awards in regards to TVET and also young graduates programs. Because at the end of the day, we want to ensure that we invest the right talents, because sport is very it's a niche area, it's a niche industry. That's one reason why we need to invest to our young talents, so that they will be able to understand the port working condition. At the same time, also we try to embed them with new set skills like IR 4.0. We try to embed them with the artificial intelligence, etc. Because at the end of the day, this person will be this group will be the future leader of the port. So that's one reason why we need to be equipped with the right set skills for the next couple of years. Okay. Yeah. And last but not least, when we are talking about governance, of course, we embed every single thing ESG into our business operations. In fact, whenever you want to have a business case to buy something or to procure something, ESG requirements need to be included as well. We need to look into whether how it will impact the environment, and we are also talking about social, how it will impact the society. At the same time, also improve our governance as well. So this is something that that PTP has embarked the journey since 2022, and all of our we embed we put ESG as a part of our way of working. It's like our DNA already. At the same time, also when you're talking about governance, we have strong ABAC, anti-bribery, anti-corruptions training and policy. At the same time, also we also educate our employees with anti-competition law, and we also have a business continuity plan. If let's say something happen, how you want to ensure the business still operate the business still running. So this is something that we are working closely together with our senior management team in order for us to put the ESG and sustainability agenda at the core of our business and also in our DNA. So I think generally when you're talking about ESG, I think I covered most of it. And in general, like I said, this journey is not it cannot be alone. It's cannot be PTP alone. We need to work together. Also, that's why we are working. Like all of my presentation, I shared with you all of the problem, the challenges. We are working together with our partners. Same goes with on the environmental, social, and governance. Because at the end of the day, in order for us to be a better company and organizations, we need to work closely with our partners. Therefore, if let's say any of you who has experience working in the port industry, you have any ideas or you want to collaborate with us, feel free to reach out to us, and we are more than happy to work together and to create a sustainable future together. I think more or less this is the end of my slides. I think I'm more than happy to take a couple of questions so that you can share, or maybe perhaps you want to share your experience or your journey or your infos. I'm more than happy to listen and more happy to engage with the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And do you mind if you can put your presentation down so we'll get everybody else on screen as well? And every time I thought of a question, you answered it. Every time, oh, hold on. Whoever it is, I think you have your mic on. Oh, wait, sorry, I had to turn that off. So like I was saying, every time I came up with a question in my head and I actually put it down, asked them about the tugboats, the pilot boats. And then soon after you come into it and you're like, scope 3, that's where we covered our pilot boat. So I understand that you don't, it's not insourced, it's outsourced. And what was, I would say what resounded in your presentation and what you have so far, what PTP has done, what comes very, very, very close to me is how you have started with, I think us logistics people, we like to call it lean principles. How you started with lean principles first in everything, taking inventory, like you said, for your carbon emission levels, how you started by taking inventory and then understanding the efficiency of your operations in a sense that, okay, I take inventory, now I want to see whether there are any redundant moves being done for us to first optimize, lean up the operation. So that comes very much. And I can see there's a lot of Kaizen, and you mentioned about the Gembas and all that. I think while we wait for questions to come out, one of the questions I would like is how have you managed to change the behavioral aspect, because the thing about green, anything that we do in terms of being more conscious about how you purchase, like you said, even when we purchase things, we use ESG principles. That means we look at carbon footprint, we look at the social issues related to it. How do you change the mindset of your people? So you're bored, you have so many people there. And all of this is lovely, but all of this will fail if people don't buy in. So how are you able to do that?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. I think always one how to answer the question. I think maybe perhaps because of PTP, we are using two prong approach. One is top down and the other one is bottom up. When it comes to top down, first we make sure that our management's already we clear with our targets, where we want to go, where we are heading to, where we are. That's how we can escalate down when it comes to policy, to our KPI, to all our business vision, etc. But at the same time, we also have a bottom up approach, meaning to say we try to make our employees excited about sustainability, and therefore when they excited about sustainability, they will be able to contribute and also to be part of the journey. I just want to give a little bit example. I think recently
I was going to ask you for an example, like how do you motivate them exactly?
I think generally, once we have our own conversation, we have a lot of conversation, a lot of engagement with respective division and department. I think just give examples. When we had a conversation with our human capital management and facilities, they have they come up with the ideas of to build a sustainability cafe for Port of Tanjung Pelepas. Meaning to say they embed some sort of like element of circular economy. They also have this hydroponic inside inside the cafe. So meaning to say that you just can take the vegetables, etc. So this is not coming from top management, or it's not coming from sustainability team, but this is the initiative being
Ideas
initiated
that
by
were given,
the department itself. So this is something that we really proud to talk about it as a team in PTP. So in general, yes, we have top-down approach. We have a clear policy, clear framework. At the same time, also we have a lot of engagement with our department and division and try to make them excited so that they will be able to come out with new ideas and new interesting ideas. So this is how we want to get to
Interesting,
change the
interesting.
of
Because what better way to influence people into a way than getting them to come up with the ideas? And if these ideas are scalable and doable, and then you have a sense of ownership, right? Then everybody goes along with it. That's very interesting. Do we have any questions for Encik Izwan, or has he explained everything to everybody? And you're overwhelmed already, or or would you have any questions to ask him before I ask him another question? Because then you'll see I'm hogging, always asking questions. Anyone for any questions? All right, then looks like I'm going to ask you another one. I understand that ships come in also for powering, right?
For ETT.
Yeah. Are we currently, like, is PTP doing
Dia
anything
kira ni,
more?
dia kira sekali ke dia,
Ini tak, ni
Who
single.
else is
Ni
speaking
skip dia
also?
PM saja.
tak maksud saya ni.
Just
Oh,
Ni. Dia ada
I
dua
had
ni.
to turn them off. Hold on, yeah.
oh.
Okay, I guess I turned them off. So sorry, because they keep putting it on. Anyways, where was I? Yes, currently for ships that are, coming in for shore power and all that. Because when you mentioned that solar at the end of the day was not really it is contributing, but you say it's only taking 3% of just covering 3% of your generation. And then we have other ports, our neighbors, that are actually using solar shore powering, right? Is PTP looking in that direction, or are you looking at something else?
Yes, I think of course we need to have renewable energy. But there's a couple of ways that we can find it. One is basically from solar farm. Another one also we also looking to opportunities of to change waste to energy. So I think generally yes, solar panel is something that we are currently working on it. But at the same time, it's not enough. We need to have a solar farm to at the same time also waste to energy in order for us to achieve to get renewable source from electricity. So that's one reason why I think in general, like I said, when we do our carbon inventory, we know where we are when we know where.
So then you know
panel,
what is what is the material to you to start working on exactly. My global chair has a question for you. Vicky, please go ahead.
Thank you, Reshma. I have a practical question to ask around solar panel or the solar farm. First of all, your solar farm is on land or in the ocean?
In the land.
On land, okay. So it costs you, it is a capital investment when you build the infrastructure for solar farm. And given, it's practically known that solar panel does not really generate stable supplies. So when you have to calculate the ROI for approval for the construction of the solar farm, how did you manage the numbers?
Okay, thank you so much, Vicky, for the question. I think general ideas is we are not building the solar farm, but we are working together with a partner who are the solar farm provider. And then they are the one who are going to put some investment, but we are going to purchase the energy from the provider. So that is basically the business model that we are looking at. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just very puzzled. How would anyone be able to work out the numbers, even though you're working with a contractor or vendor on solar panel? But given the low efficiencies from it, and it's not going to increase or improve in any time soon because of the technologies, do you see alternative ways other than solar energy?
Yeah, I think generally you're spot on that. I think in Malaysia, like I said in my presentation, the most source that we have for renewable energy will be solar. But at the same time, also, yeah, in terms of stability, in terms of the land being used to generate to generate the electricity, also going to be an issue when it comes to environmental, etc. But now I think in Malaysia, I think this is the option that we have. But I think for sure, the government has started to look into other ways as well. But whether is it going to be something that that the government will start to embark or not is something that is questionable. But as of now, with the limited options that we have, we are looking into solar farm, and we are also looking into we are working together with the partners on getting renewable energy from the solar farm to supply electricity to PTP.
Thank you. If Reshma, you may allow me to ask one more follow-up question about
Go ahead,
energy.
please. Yeah.
Malaysia is you have very good soil to have good crops, agriculture products. That is a potential source for methanols. Do you see the opportunity or the trend or possibility for Malaysia to go vertical to source the raw materials for methanols locally and supply to the transport industry?
I think good questions. First and foremost, you are right when you are talking about methanol has as a potential to be alternative fuels for maritime or logistic industry. But I think one thing that the challenge that we have here in Malaysia, particularly working together with from the EU's companies, European Union's countries, they don't recognize palm oil as a part of a sustainable product. Therefore, I think because Malaysia, I think we are well known with our palm oil, and with that, that's a challenge that we have as well. If they say we want to use use methanol, we cannot use palm oil as a source to for the alternative fuel. That's a challenge as well that we have here in Malaysia. So, but I think when you're talking about opportunities, yes, methanol is the next next in the horizon, and also Malaysia has an abundance of palm oil, and also to become a methanol. But the issues is when it comes to international community, whether they accept palm oil as a part of biodiesel or as part of a green alternative source. That's something that beyond my control.
Thank you. Maybe you have to start considering growing sugarcane, which you can use the sorghum to produce the methanols. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks.
We'll have Nazima, carry on, Nazima. Please
Yes.
go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Very nice, very insightful information and presentation. I would like to know, as you mentioned, that you are planning to reduce carbon emission by that and that percent by 2030. I would like to know what are tools and techniques that you use to measure the reduction in carbon emission. How do you do that? How do you estimate it? Thank you.
Okay, cool. I think generally, Nazima, we using the international standard for greenhouse gas protocol. But this is the emission factor that we are used to in order for us to calculate our carbon emissions. But the trajectory on the projections when how you want to achieve 45% carbon reduction as well, we are using GHG protocol under UNFCCC, and then this is how we use and calculate, and this is the estimation that we are the formula that we're going to use in order for us to achieve 45%. So we are using the GHG protocol in order for us to calculate and to estimate what are the potential reductions that we're going to have in the next couple of years. Yeah.
Thank you very much. There's one last question. And this question comes from Haji Abi. He wants to know, is PTP going to start to establish a CO2 savings per TEU handled as an indicator for progress? Wow.
I tried to understand the question. First, whether I'm not very sure about
That
it.
means will you be able to actually have a dashboard to say per TEU handle the carbon emission levels, I suppose, or the, yeah.
I think generally, yes, we also calculate our carbon intensity, meaning to say total CO2e divided by number of CEUs. I think you can access it through our sensitivity report in our site. We have our sensitivity report, and you can see the numbers or the carbon intensity per TEUs. Yes, we have started to calculate it, and also we have started to disclose the information to stakeholders via our sensitivity report.
Okay, thank you very much. So do we have any more questions for Encik Ezwan? Or shall we say thank you very much and take a group photo? Yeah, Dato Sharifa mentioned, interesting to note your ESG focus on social, and I can personally tell you another story about PTP's social initiative, which Encik Ezwan maybe left out, which was amazing about harbor pilots. The harbor pilots in PTP, the female harbor pilots, you know, when you get pregnant, you tend to worry, right? Whether you will continue having your job and whether you can come back to your job. Well, PTP organizes a program for when the pilot gets pregnant. She works in the office, am I right, in GS1? There's a place in the pilot office where she goes through a leadership program and various other trainings, right? Until such time she has had a child and she's ready to go back to work and climb the ships again. So that's also a very, very interesting way on how you make it inclusive for women to do jobs like pilotage, yeah, because pilotage is not easy, especially if a woman is planning to have family, yeah, and get pregnant. So that's wonderful work. Thank you so much for your insights, and we will definitely keep being in touch with PTP. PTP, we are very lucky, is CILT Malaysia's corporate member, and PTP has been very, very helpful, always working together with CILT for various things and engagements that we bring you all in. So I want to thank you very much for that. And if everybody can get their cameras on, can we take a photograph with Encik Izwan and all of us in today's session? So we'll get that photograph. I don't have Hajjaz. Oh, there I have Dr. Zawiya here. It's usually Dr. Zawiya who will get this one done. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to pass the mic back to you. But before I pass the mic back to you, ma'am, I'd like to make a tiny announcement. What Vicky mentioned. So Wilat Capacity Building Center will be organizing two interesting programs. One program that we're planning to have towards the end of August, early September. We'll keep you posted. This is part of our DE&I program, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, where we will cover 3 topics: green practices, diversity and inclusion, women empowerment in the logistics field, as well as neurodiversity inclusion into jobs, into logistics jobs. So this will be an interesting program that we will share learnings for companies that are planning to implement and adopt this. So please keep in tuned into the Wilat CILT space. And now over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Encik Azwan, for your wonderful presentation. Thank you, PTP. Keep making us proud. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reshma. Thank you to our amazing speaker. Yeah, we have again very insightful information. Yeah, real life situation. Okay, so with that, may I have your attention to switch on your camera and give your best smile ever. Okay, so we have 2 pages. Yeah. Okay, hi Doreen. Okay, so smile everyone. Okay, let's just wait a few seconds. Okay, they are now switch on the camera. I can see all the lovely faces. Okay, still waiting. Okay, page 1, yeah. Okay, everyone start, switch on your camera, okay. Okay, smile. You, okay, this is page 1. Let me copy. Okay, hold on, Okay, now coming to page 2. Okay, page 2. Okay, smile. Okay, now we go to page 2. All right, so, okay, got you. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Okay, lovely smiles. Yeah. Okay, over to you, Reshma.
Okay, thank you very much. And keep in tune, because remember what we're doing by engaging with the industry is collecting and collating information that ultimately will become a toolkit for all of us. So let's make the world a safer place. And like what Inche Ezwan said, it has to be collaborative because the planet belongs to you, me, and everybody. So we have to work together. Thank you very much. Have a great
Okay.
day. Bye-bye.
Okay. So see everyone again in our next webinar or coffee talk. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.